Welcome to the new RiverCityGamers Podcast, hosted by SCXCR and Well Unreal 007, as well as many other members from the RiverCityGamers website. Stay tuned for all the gaming news, new pickups, and everything else we feel like talking about on the RiverCityGamers Podcast.
And welcome to the RiverCityGamers Podcast. I'm SCXCR. Shut up, go.
Keep the names coming.
This is AngelHalo. I'm lost. Help.
And I'm Blondeguygamer. I'm not shifting my mic around. I don't want to break it.
It's a good thing my floor is carpeted, I'll say that much.
Same, I'm just trying to fucking get it back onto my stupid stand. Okay, there we go.
We're totally gonna lose subscribers in this, right?
We already lost.
We get subscribers to do our foot out of this?
Yeah, tell that to the panel and shit that you guys had.
Yeah, video on that
don't
coming
rub it
soon, maybe. But you know what's coming soon that's actually going to happen soon? Gaming news.
Gaming news! So real.
So for gaming news, I want to start on a positive note and end on a positive note, and that's going to be pretty difficult to do. The easy part is starting on a positive note, because I can mention that Summer Games Done Quick 2015 just happened recently, and they raised over $1.2 million for Doctors Without Borders.
Sick stuff. I'm actually very curious to looking into Doctors Without Borders since I'm getting into the medical profession myself.
Was this their highest total ever for GDQ? Or, do you know?
It might have been. I can't remember how much exactly AGDQ got recently. I know it was over $1 million, but I don't know what the exact figure was.
All I know is it reached 1 million faster than AGDQ 2014, where I think that was the first time they ever reached 1 million, and it happened like right near the end of the Chrono Trigger run. It's funny because this SGDQ ended with a Chrono Trigger run, but they reached the 1 million mark during the Mario 64 race thing, right?
Yeah.
That's still really good that they got that much out of it, obviously.
Personally, I still miss the Die Hard NES runs.
Wasn't that last
yeah,
year?
those haven't appeared in a while.
Just the fact that that one guy who was playing the game constantly had to redo it, like in between streams.
Yeah, like in between runs, but I think that was my first GDQ I watched, and probably the reason I stuck around.
Was that like a year or two ago?
I think that was 2013.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that definitely seems like it.
Well, that was the positive news. Now for the shit.
Yeah, because we can't have news without that, right?
This sandwich effect. I can't wait to see how tasty this is.
Well, we're starting with Konami.
Extra delicious.
There was a report in a Japanese publication, Nikkei, recently about the sorts of conditions people are working under in Konami now.
Oh boy, here we go.
Among the allegations are Kojima Productions. Their computers are not connected to the internet and only able to send internal messages. Employees that leave the company offices during their lunch break have their absences monitored with time cards, and people who stay out too long have their names announced throughout the whole company. This is some elementary school bullshit.
Oh my goodness. I mean,
Are you sure that's just not like how some Japanese companies just do things?
is there more to go on? Before I say anything, is there more on this list?
Yes, we're not even
boy.
halfway through.
There's
Oh
a
my
lot.
There are cameras in the hallways of the office. They're not there for
Surveillance
security.
camera.
They monitor
That's
the
right.
movements of their own employees with those.
Jesus Christ, this is Gustavo Fring bullshit here.
Most Konami employees don't have Konami company email addresses. So when they're dealing with people outside the company, they can't use Konami emails.
That's certainly professional, surely.
This is one example of what can happen if you leave Konami. Someone announced on Facebook that they were leaving their job at Konami to get a new job elsewhere. Konami's people monitored the post, and any remaining Konami staff that liked the post got repositioned within the company. And this is my favorite, this last one. Game developers who aren't seen as quote-unquote useful get reassigned to other jobs. Such jobs include security guards, cleaning staff, random positions at the company fitness clubs, or the assembly lines of their pachinko slot machine factory.
That is some extreme bullshit right there. I mean, you got people who work so hard to get degrees just for companies to recognize that, hey, I can program video games. And then when they are deemed useless, all of a sudden they're given the same job as a janitor.
And that last one I mentioned, allegedly the place where a Suikoden developer ended up.
Oh my goodness. That is just insulting. I don't even care if it's a cultural thing. That is just insulting to a person's achievement for the company. Like, do they value their workers at all?
No, they're fucking Konami.
Oh, well, of course. I mean, they did go through all the effort possible to let the world know that Silent Hills never existed.
Yeah, but the Silent Hill Pachinko got greenlit.
Well, unfortunately, like, the pachinko machines thing, it's still big in Japan, so obviously they're still going to get a lot out of that. And unfortunately, that seems to be what their focus is, at least in terms of, like, still being relevant, at least in Japan. Here, it's it's obviously like, oh, fuck Konami, because it's like, they're obviously not shifting their attention towards gaming, really.
Why would you do this to your own employees?
Hey, with today's economy, you gotta have a job. You'd be grateful just to have a job, right? No? Well,
I mean, no offense to the whole pachinko thing, but is that really an excuse to treat your employees like garbage? I personally want to know what the hell happened between Konami and Kojima.
Don't we all?
The only silver lining that came out of this is, what was his name again? Koji Igarashi? No one wants to play Castlevania games anymore. Oh, I contraire. Throws the wine glass.
Well, Keiji Inafune pretty much did that like 2 years before with like Mighty Number 9 when Capcom pretty much flat out told them, oh, no one wants Mega Man games anymore.
But that's going to an entirely different topic. What were you going to say, SCR?
I was going to get the hell off this topic.
Let's do that.
Moving on to Dead or Alive.
Well, okay, what about Dead or Alive?
Well, Team Ninja announced that Dead or Alive Extreme Volleyball 3 is in development.
Oh, really?
But it's not getting localized outside of the Asian markets.
Oh.
I can't say I blame them because... Well,
Have you seen the petitions where like people actually want to bring it over here though?
Oh yeah, but of course...
There is a petition. Release Dead or Alive Extreme 3 worldwide, not just in Japan and Asia markets.
But and don't forget to sign the petition to cancel Federation Force. You gotta have your priorities.
It has 663 supporters.
Oh, well.
Oh,
because we're gonna make millions of dollars with those 600 plus supporters.
Not that those games are obviously for me or anything. I never even really played the main Dead or Alive games to begin with, but for what I recall, at least in Extreme 2, I think I might know a reason why it's not being released outside of like Asian markets. Aren't a lot of the characters in that game like 16, 17, that type of thing?
they're listed as like age unknown.
Yeah, in like Extreme 2 they were.
Well, depends on the character. I mean, Japan has its own laws about that, but
the underage ones are listed as like unknown age.
Well, at least when they were localized here, anyway. I don't know if that's true in the Japanese version, because the age of consent there as well. Because the age of consent there is considerably younger, which is why you tend to see a lot of underage stuff in some Japanese games. But that's just a theory of mine. So of why it's not even being localized here. Like it could be a little too gratuitous, maybe. I don't know.
A little too gratuitous for, I don't think I said that right, but volleyball, that butt smacking.
We can't forget the water slide where you can just fly off and like.
Excellent gameplay.
I love some of the comments.
People play those for the gameplay.
I love some of the comments on this article.
Oh, geez, I'm sure that's...
Yeah, sounds like the SJWs interfered.
Are you going into that topic?
This is good, but
No.
we need some more titty and bop bop titties.
The volleyball stuff makes it the best volleyball game ever made.
As opposed to actual volleyball games.
As opposed to other volleyball games, such as...
Okay, you got me there.
I think there was one on the GameCube.
As opposed to beach spikers, I guess.
And
The Olympic Games that have a volleyball thing in them.
one of the Mario parties has a volleyball minigame. I think.
Okay. They do have a point there.
Outlaw volleyball.
The NES volleyball game.
Oh right, there was
yeah,
an
we're kind of
NES
stretching.
volleyball game. Wasn't there some sort of Klonoa volleyball thing too?
Klonoa.
I don't know.
Hold on, I'm looking for it. Yeah, Klonoa Beach Volleyball.
That was actually a thing?
Yes, it was. Released in Japan
Okay.
and Europe, but not here.
Oh, that's why. I guess we never heard of it.
Please release Klonoa Beach Volleyball.
Get that
for
petition
not
going
just
right
Japan
now.
and the Asian market.
We need competition for Dead or Alive Extreme 3. Bring us beach volleyball.
Remember how I said all the news in between was going to be shit? I lied.
Well, what can top Dead or Alive, Extreme Beach Volleyball 3?
Nintendo's recent estimates for profits and losses. Because analysts expected them to record a loss for the first fiscal quarter of 2016. Nope. They had a rather healthy profit. Can you guess
cool.
what two things led to that?
Smash Brothers and Splatoon.
And not Pachinko.
Splatoon is one of them.
It's not going to be Amiibos, right?
It is Amiibos.
Of course it's Amiibo.
Well,
Yeah.
they barely have any fucking product here.
Well, apparently with the crazy demand, even with you guys trying to hunt them down all the time, apparently it's there and they've been getting good sales from it. So
Yeah, I gave up on Amiibos. I sold almost all of mine during my adventures at San Japan.
I got 4
Wait.
a long time ago, and I haven't even thought about them since.
I got a Samus when Smash came out, and that's it. I quickly I did not get hooked into the habit or whatever.
Do I even need to talk about it?
No.
Well, we are talking about Amiibos anyway. I don't know.
Okay, 30 plus. There you go. It's still going up.
Well, it's not like you're the only one that's beginning all of these.
I know. I think we all know.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, these sales figures are an indication people just really like these Amiibos and want to get them. And they've been selling really well.
I'm probably just gonna try and finish my Smash collection and then stop. Unless they release some very specific one in particular, I'm just gonna stick getting the Smash collection done and then kind of teeter out.
Well, on the note of knowing when to stop, Red Ash.
Oh
boy.
yeah, that's the other Kickstarter that Keiji Inafune started, even though Mighty Number 9 isn't technically done yet, where Red Ash is actually the Mega Man Legends spiritual successor, right?
And it's even funnier now that Mighty Number 9 got delayed to next year.
Yeah,
And it was
that's true.
supposed to be finished in September.
And it was even funnier in that as the Kickstarter was going on, they said, hey, we just got funded by this other publisher. Now the Kickstarter's just for the extra shit.
And how much extra money did they receive?
None.
Ha!
Why, did the Kickstarter not go through or something?
The Kickstarter
No,
for
the
game-
Kickstarter did not succeed.
Yeah, people backed out of that one once they got someone who will fund the game.
Right, because that
They
would
still
seem a
funded
little...
the Kickstarter for the Red Ash animation, though.
Huh.
Isn't that like a short animation anyway?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention.
As far as I know, it's not an episodic series. I'm not even sure if it's like feature length.
Couldn't really care much.
I think what it is, one of our friends was discussing with us about it, And he did raise sort of a good point where he believed that Concept, the company Keiji Inafune started, got a little too comfortable with Kickstarter. And it got to the point where they're relying on them. And when they got the publisher, they're like, okay, we got money, guys. Just give us more money so we can do extra stuff.
Just put it on my Players Club card.
The Red Ash Kickstarter was a fucking disaster. It was handled so fucking bad.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, though. I mean, the Red Ash thing, I don't think is true. I mean, I don't think they really handled it that well. I think what probably happened is that they were still in negotiations over, like, who's going to publish this, or who's going to and even going to fund it. So I guess at one point they were just like, well, Mighty Number 9 did really well Kickstarter wise, and we have a good reputation for that already, so why not just do another one for Red Ash? And unfortunately, it seemed like during the middle of that they were like, the negotiations actually came through and they're like, oh, now we have a publisher, this will be funded regardless. People were like, well, what's the point of the Kickstarter then? And then yeah. That's just what I think at least probably happened anyway.
Also didn't help that the community for Concept the community management wasn't exactly well received, which thankfully got fixed months ago, but the damage is already done.
I mean, I can't really speak for him, but I do know that Zero is obviously looking forward to it regardless, because ever since like Mega Man Legends 3 got canceled, this is kind of like, well, obviously the spiritual successor. So I know that the Kickstarter, wasn't exactly handled that well, but it still seems like it's going to be coming out regardless sometime, like, I don't know, like in a couple years maybe or something like that.
Yeah. This is my policy on just about anything video game wise, but I'm not saying anything until I actually get my hands on the game. However, I am going to mock to hell and back that quote-unquote speedrun video they uploaded.
Speedrun video?
Yeah, I don't think they know what a speedrun is.
Oh yeah, that!
Because they were like trying to get through the level as fast as possible, and then they stopped to kill all the enemies, and then they were going back for pickups, and...
Was this like on a Red Ash prototype or something?
No, this was the Mighty Number 9 shit.
Oh, it was Mighty Number 9, okay, sorry.
Let's speedrun
Don't even talk about the Red Ash prototype.
Well, again, it's a prototype. It's obviously something that's just a concept, obviously.
But the problem is, it's clear it's something they just threw together in desperation, though. Like,
well,
that's what it felt.
Well, when it's something that early, yes, it is something that's thrown together. It's not exactly going to be like...
Well, I'm just saying, like, it felt like it was out of being desperate because their Kickstarter wasn't doing well. Like, that's what it came off.
Well, I don't know.
Like,
I mean,
early product is super early shit.
But that's still like something that's still like an extremely early, like, just showcasing of what the game is in its very, very early stages of development, regardless. So, I mean, you can't really judge the game just on that, even if it is just thrown together at kind of like a last minute type of thing. But that's usually how development goes with those kinds of things. If you want to show at least somebody a prototype of something,
They should have had
like
that together before the Kickstarter then.
Sorry, what?
Yeah.
They should have had that together before the Kickstarter even launched then.
Yeah, they handed this one out
I've played demos for other Kickstarter games that were far better put together. Like, Lonnie, you remember the demo for Neverending Nightmares, right?
Yeah, I did make a video on that, even though it was kind of late. But yeah, but I know what you mean. But
well, let's get on to happier topics, and by happier topics, I mean Microsoft.
That's happier?
Yeah, because they announced what their company's long-term strategy is going to be for games on their platform. That strategy is going to be not doing any more third-party exclusivity deals.
Huh, okay.
In an interview, Phil Spencer said that they were going to focus more on putting money into their first-party franchises. In particular, he pointed out Forza, Fable, Gears of War, and Halo.
AKA their only franchises.
AKA the only stuff Xbox really has.
Well, the only exclusives that aren't Rare.
Yeah, Rare made. I mean, yeah, you could argue that one of the weaknesses of Microsoft is that their first-party titles aren't that prominent or memorable as Nintendo's or Sony's. But at the same time, they at least said that we are putting more money and effort into our first party, which could be a good thing anyway.
Yeah, at least they're trying.
Yeah, I mean, and plus third party with like Xbox 360 and I guess Xbox One now has always mostly been like people will just buy that version anyway because it's like their console that they have. So it's not like there were any really exclusive third party stuff to begin with. Like
most quote unquote exclusives were timed exclusive, so they were coming to like Sony's platform anyway.
Yeah, like isn't the new Tomb Raider like that? It's like a timed exclusive for Xbox One or something like that.
I'm not sure. I haven't paid attention to that.
Well, I think that's the case anyway.
Personally, I think they were only doing this because they lost Call of Duty to Sony.
And because of that whole Street Fighter V thing.
That too.
Basically, Sony had some slightly bigger dump trucks full of money for them, for those franchises.
They pulled a dump truck full of money up to my house.
Of course, you would make that reference.
Of course. And that brings us to our final story, involving Adam Sandler.
Oh no, it's about a movie, isn't it?
About a certain movie involving Pixels. The news is not that Pixels is a pile of shit and that people are lambasting it left and right.
And yet wait, is it? I think the new Fantastic Four is actually being rated lower than Pixels, but I don't know.
Oh, that's a whole other shitstorm I don't want to get into.
Exactly.
Well, the people behind it hired Entura International to help with their image. Entura International, for those of you who don't know, they specialize in taking down or preventing copyright infringing material for film companies from being uploaded. And they sent a DMCA notice to Vimeo. The DMCA notice involves taking down everything with the word pixels in it.
Oh no, we're talking Candy Crush stories, aren't we?
So they wound up taking down videos from people like the Independent Museum of Contemporary Art. They wound up taking down music videos from a band called The Pixels, a 2010 award-winning film called Pixels, a video from the Pixels Festival, which takes place in Belgium, a royalty-free stock footage video called Love Pixels. So there's going to be a bunch of shit going on in response to that, but there is a silver lining to this. Some of the videos that got taken down, the trailers for Pixels.
So,
good job, idiots. So
let's take down everything that has the word pixels in it while destroying our own marketing material at the same time. So
this is like if it'd be like if the actual reason Skynet like nuked everything was like if a scientist just programmed a game or programmed the Skynet computer just to say take out these ants that are in the kitchen or whatever, and then this guy's response is, okay, we'll nuke every house with ants in it. I don't know why I went to ants, but that's all I could think of.
Freedom, freedom.
God damn it! I intentionally got 2 Simpsons references in this podcast already.
I do remember, like, a long time ago, I mentioned Candy Crush. I'm sure you guys know the story already. Is this going to turn into another scenario where Pixels is going to try to trademark the term Pixels?
No, I think the Candy Crush thing was more like a trademark. This is basically like taking like my Skynet situation example, where it's like you program a bot to be like, okay, you have decent access on like these videos with this in it, and then they were like, oh wait, we didn't realize that there were a lot of stuff, including our own trailers. Whoops. Because
this is
hindsight with that is
this is excessive use of the Men in Black neuralizer.
No, I'm pretty sure if anyone's going to use the neuralizer, it'd be like Konami for like trying to wipe out people's memories of Silent Hills. It didn't exist. Trust us.
Well, that brings us to the end of gaming news.
Hooray!
And now
thanks, Sandler.
That was a disgusting sandwich. I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, here's another sandwich called upcoming releases. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, looking first on the PS4. Oh, great, a $60 choose-your-own-adventure book called Until Dawn.
I keep forgetting that's coming out.
I forgot that existed until I saw it in the list.
Exactly! It's just like, oh, and then you just get
what
reminded.
exactly is Until Dawn?
He just said a choose-your-own-adventure game.
You're on a run from a serial killer, and at various points, you stop and have two options pop up, and you have a limited time to select one.
Was this shown at like E3 and stuff?
Yes. With the
Yes.
audience saying,
Okay.
no, go that way! No!
Okay.
Yeah!
Okay, I know what that is now.
It's starting to sound like a stripped-down Telltale adventure games.
Well, yeah, because, those are really successful, so of course people are going to try and, cash in on those too.
Speaking of cashing in, September 1st, Metal Gear Solid 5 comes out.
AKA the last game that pretty much I think everybody is going to buy from Konami.
It's unfortunate, but it will have to go on my PC.
Because it's like everyone's like, oh yeah, fuck Konami, but they're like, yeah, but Metal Gear Solid 5, shit.
It's a double-edged sword in this one. Like, you hate Konami, but it's the last Metal Gear Solid game that Kojima ever worked on.
Just get it used.
I can't do used on PC. Shit.
Wait for the inevitable Steam sale price drop. Yeah, it comes out in September. You wait a couple of months, the Christmas sales are going to start.
Okay, fair enough.
Well,
I'll probably
regardless, that game's still going to sell, millions, because, it's Metal Gear Solid.
Konami's only well-selling franchise, aside from that one other soccer franchise, maybe.
And probably the last game people are even going to buy from Konami.
Well, that's what I just said, yeah.
And we go from the last game you'll ever buy from Konami to the last Mario game you'll ever need, Super Mario Maker.
Oh, yeah.
I remember tuning in right after one of my clinical dates that I believe y'all were watching a tournament going on.
It was the Nintendo World Championships, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was some fun stuff.
Now everyone can make their own levels, which I'm sure won't be crappy at all, right?
Well, I'd rather play that than the new Madden. Seriously, sorry, I'm looking through the list. Is that the note that I'm gonna end on?
Actually,
wait, no. NHL 16, no. There is one more. Involves a certain game that was kickstarted a while ago. Blondie, I believe you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring that up. If you did mention that in the last podcast, but I guess we could still talk about it here. I believe you were talking about Armikrog?
Yes.
Yes. That's actually coming out in, a couple weeks after this recording?
Oh my goodness, really?
A week or so?
Yeah.
Oh,
so I'm definitely looking forward to it, because, because I've obviously covered, stuff about the Neverhood and Skull Monkeys and all that, and, SCR, you're looking forward to getting it, which kind of surprised me that you did, but okay.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you and Akigo going back and forth in the Skype chat about this game.
Oh yeah, we can't forget Akigo, who is pretty much like the biggest Neverhood fan, and it was obvious he was going to get that too.
Man, I lost track about that game. Holy cow.
Of Armikrog?
Yeah.
Well, it was Kickstarted a couple years ago, and now it's going to be out, so...
It's been a couple... Wow.
Yeah, time flies when you kickstart.
And here I am, still waiting for a Barkley Shut Up and Jam Gaiden 2.
Yeah, that still hasn't had any, updates.
Was that, Kickstarted or something?
Yeah, it was
that was Kickstarted.
Oh, okay, well... Yeah, but going back to Armikrog, I don't know if I actually want to make some kind of video or something on it, but I guess I'll say that for video updates.
Okay, that's it for upcoming releases. So, what has everyone been playing lately? Hold on. Let me roll my no-sided die. I can't see where it went.
Probably because it has no sides.
Oh, right. For pointing that out, you get to go first.
Okay. Actually, today, as of this recording, I actually did get out and get a few games. I only have actually played a little bit of one, but for the game that I did actually play a little bit of, which was literally a few hours ago, just to try it out and see how it was, is actually Donkey Kong for the Game Boy. And it's actually a remake of the original Donkey Kong. And you can actually play on the Super Game Boy, and has some It actually probably utilizes the best graphics for a Super Game Boy game. What's neat about this game is, if you're familiar with Mario vs. Donkey Kong, the very first one, this is actually a predecessor of that game. So a lot of mechanics and the whole like platformer puzzle nature of the game is actually in this game. When you first boot up the game, it's just like the first 4. It's just like the original levels of the original Donkey Kong. But then it opens up to like stages and worlds, and they all have like 4 levels each. And then you fight Donkey Kong, and then another 4 levels where you fight Donkey Kong again. And that's actually a lot of mechanics and things that are introduced in this particular game that are used in later Mario games. Like in this game, Mario, it's the first one where Mario has a triple jump, or he can do a backflip. It actually predates Donkey Kong Country, but in this, it's actually where Donkey Kong is introduced with that red tie. So there's definitely a lot of neat things going for it. And having played actually Mario vs. Donkey Kong before this, and finally get in, and then I realized, oh yeah, this is actually, a predecessor to Mario vs. Donkey Kong. So that was neat. I've only played like the first few stages of that game, but I look forward to playing more of it.
If I may intervene, I actually do own that too on the 3DS, and as you said, it's incredibly fun.
Actually, quick question on the 3DS version. Does it have like the borders and stuff you would have on the Super Game Boy?
Oh, we're talking about like Virtual Console.
Yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately, no. It's just straight up emulation. I know it. I'm surprised Nintendo hasn't went above and beyond for doing that, but.
Yeah. Oh well. I mean, I guess that's one advantage of like me getting and finding a copy of this and playing on the Super Game Boy. Then you have those little extra features, I guess.
With certain emulators, you can replicate the Super Game Boy features, but the only real benefit with the 3DS version is, of course, being able to get it any time and being able to save your game at any point wherever you want, save states, if you will.
Well, yeah, like restore points or whatever those are.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get it for the 3DS as well, but if you have it like a Super Game Boy like I do, then, well, I kind of recommend hunting it down. I mean, the cartridge I got for it wasn't too expensive, so.
Well, I'll go ahead and go next. This is a game that I actually completed a while ago, but I might as well talk about it. The newer Strider game.
Ooh.
Still have to play that one.
Well, I recommend it. I had a good time with it. Playing as Strider, you really feel like a badass, just being able to run through and like slice your way through everyone and everything in your path.
Just smash that attack button while you're running everywhere.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, you get other abilities, but okay, for record, I played it on like the normal difficulty. I never really felt a need to use any of those like special abilities, except for 1 or 2 bosses until I was a little over halfway through the game. So the difficulty doesn't really start to climb until you're well into it. And by then I was like, oh right, I have these abilities. And I don't know if this is just me, but I have screenshots of this on my Steam account too. There were moments where I was going through a level apparently too fast, because parts of the level would not load. Like I would be going through a hallway, enter this large room, try to like jump down to an area, and all of the walls would be missing. I would be able to see like through the bottom of the floor, through the bottom of like any water that was on the ground, and there would be enemies climbing on the walls that had not loaded. There was just nothing there.
Just for reference, you played the PC version, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I played through the PS3 version, and I never had any of those issues come up.
Might just be a PC thing then.
Maybe.
Or it might just be a me thing, because I seem to attract this kind of stuff.
If I may ask, what settings are you playing Strider on?
Just the default settings.
I'm not sure if it has anything to do with the hardware you're using specifically. When I get around to actually playing it, I might be able to confirm your theory or not. Well, what happened, I should say. I said theory.
All in all, I had fun with it. I mean, ending was a little weak, but I don't know what else could it done from what it was leading to. So
I thought one aspect of the ending I thought was pretty cool, but I guess I see what you mean.
I mean, for what it was okay.
Exactly.
And overall, I did like the game. I do recommend people playing it.
Yeah, and trust me, as someone who played the absolute worst, like, Strider game, if you can even count it as one, like, shortly after I did that review, I actually ended up getting the newer Strider on my PS3, and it was a nice breath of fresh air after that, I can tell you that. And yeah, I liked it too. And yeah, it's actually pretty funny that this was actually made by Double Helix, and it's like, I guess after or made during the same time as like Killer Instinct, and it's like, wow, they can actually make good games. Of course, now they're with like Amazon or something, and who knows what they're doing now, but at least they got a couple good games out.
There is one thing that pissed me off. Those canisters that are randomly around that give you like a huge boost of health. I didn't realize for the longest time that those count toward 100%ing the game.
Oh yeah. Well, I think they show up on the minimap
really
as like
annoying.
things. Well, they show up on the minimap as things to get, so it's like, yeah.
Yeah, but they're just health items, so I didn't think anything of it. Like, why would you count that toward item collection in the game?
I don't know. Maybe I guess if you're like really OCD, it wouldn't really bother you because you would just open them anyway, even if you're at full health. That's kind of what I did. But
No, I'm OCD, and what I do is I only collect as much health as I need in case I need the health pickups for later.
Oh, okay. So it's a case of actually being too OCD, and then you didn't. I see.
They were going to do something like that. Why not just have an inventory management system? Is that in the game?
No, there isn't really an inventory. You just have like.
You just have like keys you can use
but...
to swap out between different ciphers.
Yeah, and actually the different ciphers you can collect can open and activate different things. Like this game is actually really cool in that it actually takes that kind of Metroidvania style, and I guess concepts from like the NES Strider, which was a little janky to begin with, but they actually managed to take that concept and work it with a new Strider.
Anyway, that's about all I have to say on that. So, Angel?
I'll start by talking about a little bit on Kid Icarus Uprising. I was hunting this game down for the sake of getting more points for Club Nintendo, but I pretty much gave up finding a new copy at that point and decided to just pick it up used. It still had the AR cards in it, so I figured I can't pass this up. Only a couple weeks ago, I finally gotten around to trying it out and found out just how simplistic the gameplay was. It starts off as sort of a rail shooter deal. You could say it's kind of similar to Star Fox, but it's hard to describe. It's more like you're just flying around the screen and then you shoot whoever's on the screen sort of deal. And eventually you go to ground combat where it gets really fun. You just run around swinging your weapon at enemies and shooting them at long distances, and you can pull off a few neat tricks and whatnot. And the storyline is pretty funny considering that it's borrowing a lot of anime tropes for it. I even heard that it makes fun of all those tropes later in the game, but that I cannot confirm. It does have multiplayer, which I haven't been able to try out yet, and because this game was made by Sakurai, the interfaces in Kid Icarus Uprising I've noticed are incredibly similar to the new Smash Bros. Game for the 3DS.
Yeah, and Wii U.
Yeah, and it's a really fun game. I haven't really progressed that much further into it yet. I'm not sure if I will, but it is fun to play. And there are two games I did purchase recently. I purchased Skyrim, I know, like 4 years later, since a personal friend of mine convinced me to try it out, and I have a lot of fun with it. I made up my own character who is a red guard who was born in a well next to the river.
You know what to say, SCR. Come on, well. Down a well.
All the way down.
There you go. I had to coax that one pretty hard for you to say.
There's still a lot to be progressed in the game. There's a lot to be covered anyway. I'm sure if I already beaten the game by now, I'd probably have to go on hours and hours about it. So moving on, the most recent purchase I've had was Resident Evil Revelations 2. after the success, I've been to San Japan last week, and after the success of my Resident Evil panel, Operation Biohazard. After the success of Operation Biohazard, my Resident Evil panel, me and Shadow Snake decided that we're just going to go ahead and pick up Resident Evil Revelations 2. We got the full package for $40, which includes all the DLC, including Wesker and the throwback map pack. I could say that the single-player mode is really, really fun to play. It's a huge throwback to classic Resident Evil. Like, now you have to manage your inventory a little better, especially since you now have a bunch of item combinations you can make sub-weapons. Like, you don't just pick up pulse grenades or decoy grenades anymore, although you can still find some laying around, like in the first Revelations. Now you have to pick up ingredients to 2 different ingredients to make those weapons together. And I've noticed that, especially when you get to play as Barry Burton, that it seems similar to The Last of Us. So that really made the game better for me. And I really love what they did with the co-op mode. Like, me and Shadow decided to play through co-op. I let him be Claire and Barry, and I get to be Moriah and what's her name, Natalie. And I love the aspect where one character does all the combat while the other one supports the character, whether it be providing the healing items or just pushing enemies off of them, that sort of thing. In Moriah's case, you can stun enemies with the flashlights and with the crowbar, and Natalia, you just point out enemies, which allows Barry to do stealth kills or point out their weaknesses.
Yeah, I brought this up before and I just looked it up again. It's Moira.
Moira. I can never get the pronunciation right. I am sorry. The co-op mode is easily my favorite part about the game, just for how different how big of a different role that each player plays, and it also helps that raid mode went through a huge overhaul. They throw it. You know how the first raid mode had RPG elements? Now they just went overboard with those RPG elements. They can do like elemental damage, like ice damage, electric damage, fire damage. You can now face gigantic enemies. You now have a lot more variety of enemies. They even brought back some enemies from Revelations 5 and 6, as well as some levels from all those games too.
This is Resident Evil, or not? This is Revelations 2. I don't think Revelations 5 and 6 is out yet. But well, I know. Yeah, you meant Resident Evil 5 and 6.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said 5, 6, Revelations 5, 6. Okay, whatever.
You just said Revelations 5 and 6 again.
Just pretend I put commas there, okay?
Just edit in like him saying Resident Evil instead.
Make me sound robotic as humanly possible. That's all I have to say about it. I got the PC version, and for those who are concerned, online mode is fully functional, and split screen mode is possible as long as you got a couple of Xbox controllers laying around. And furthermore, if you're going to buy the game, honestly, I'd probably just stick to the $24 purchase, which includes all the single player campaign and hunk, because a little extra money for the throwback map pack isn't really that worth it, especially since it doesn't really throw back to the older Resident Evil games. Like when you think throwback, what do you guys think?
I think of the wrestling move.
How about in relation to Resident Evil? Like, we're throwing back to the past.
Brad Vickers is alive somehow.
I was gonna say there's wrestling moves in like 4 and 5 or whatever.
Yeah, there's people doing German suplexes on zombies, which should hurt the people doing the German suplex a hell of a lot more.
My point is, I was expecting something like Spencer Mansion or the Umbrella Laboratory in the second game, but now it's just more Resident Evil 6 and Revelations levels.
Those games are like 3 years old, so that's enough of a throwback, right?
Yeah. It is a great game, though. Just settle for the $25 package.
All your Resident Evil talk reminded me that I still have Resident Evil 6 from GameFly.
Yeah, and you still haven't played it.
As of 3 days ago, I have had that game rented from GameFly for 2 years.
2 years and counting.
And I don't think I've played it in a year and a half.
Is there a reason you haven't returned it?
Because I keep telling myself, I'm gonna get back to it. I'm going to play it. I'm gonna finish at least one character's campaign. And I never actually have the desire to play it.
Does one of us have to play with you on co-op or something?
Probably.
That's what I keep trying to tell him. And
no, well, that's what I keep trying to tell him, because it's like, I have the game and I haven't played it yet.
I have the game too.
So just, yeah. I mean, we could probably, like, another 2 years from now, we'll probably still be saying the same shit about this. Unless you actually do go with it. Just finally.
Yeah, I'll finally nut up and return it to GameFly.
Yeah, it'll probably just be that anticlimactic about it.
Anyway, sorry, Unreal, your turn.
Okay, so, I really don't have much. I think 2 games are literally all I got recently between last podcast and now. One of them was Red Steel 2, which I got for around $2.
Wow, that's even cheaper than what I've seen it before in, like, bins.
Yep, I went to GameStop one day. I forget why I went up. Oh, I probably went to pre-order something, but I checked the Wii area. Donkey Kong Country Returns is still $25, and I still can't spend money on it yet.
That's still pretty good for that game, though.
Yeah, I know. But Red Steel 2 picked up. It was really cheap, and like by this point, I had already beaten Red Steel 1. So I'm like, I don't know what to expect from Red Steel 2 outside of hearing that it's better. So I played Red Steel 2 for about 5 minutes, and absolutely everything is better. Only for 5 minutes of play, it runs smoother, it plays smoother, everything is just better.
Yeah, they pretty much did just a complete overhaul of like everything with that. It's like, it's almost a completely different game.
I haven't played like too much of it. I played like maybe less than an hour of it because I just wanted to mess around with the game, but man, like so far so good. Definitely an improvement over Red Steel 1 because things feel like they actually work now, which is great. However, one game I got at my trade-in store for about $8 was a game I've been looking for the original Xbox, actually. Urban Chaos Riot Response.
Oh yeah, that's
Rocksteady's first game before they did the Batman games, the Arkham games. I put more playtime into this so far. I don't know how far in I am, but I've been like playing it on and off, and it's a lot of fun. My only complaint is sometimes it feels like it can get really samey, if I should like say so, because there's a lot of like side objectives you can do to get medals, and they amount to the same thing: X number of headshots, non-lethal kills, collectibles, not dying or like using a checkpoint in the whole level type of thing. It's like that for every single level. And the medals are pretty important because getting more unlocks you like more stuff, like more ammo clips, weapon upgrades, a bunch of other stuff. But in general, the game has been pretty fun, and I wasn't sure what I was going to expect from Rocksteady's first game, but yeah, I guess after playing this, I could say Rocksteady's track record has actually been pretty solid. They've only made 4 games, and all 4 of them have been like, I'd say, pretty much above good. Other than that, that's pretty much all the stuff that I've played within like the recent time frame, and it's probably gonna like stay like that at least until September when Phantom Pain comes out. But for right now, that's pretty much all I got.
Right. Well, this leads into our discussion topic. Actually, it doesn't. I'm just saying it does because that's what's next. And it's the matter of eSports.
Boy.
I can't keep that. I can't keep my face straight to that. I'm sorry.
Well, keep your face straight for this one. The hell did I just say? Anyway, there's actually been, like, a bit of ground gained in the whole eSports thing. Because guess who was covering the Dota 2 tournament that just happened? The International 5, I believe it's called.
I don't know.
ESPN.
What?
Oh,
okay.
Yes, so... ESPN, the sports network whose company president said eSports is not sports, they've been broadcasting some of the Dota 2 finals, and they've run a number of videos highlighting matches that happened at the International 5, and a number of stories on it. And this actually started a while back because they were also doing stories on League of Legends, and in particular Faker, who, for those of you who don't know, is like a really huge League of Legends player. And on top of that, some instances of the X Games are also adding eSports events as part of their competitions. So my question to you guys is there any real traction in eSports? Or is this just like a temporary rise and then it's going to fall off the map again?
Well, I don't know about the whole temporary rise thing, because like esports in terms of like this level of competitive gaming has been around for quite a while. And I guess it's only like, I guess maybe recent-ish years it's becoming a bit more like broadcast into mainstream, especially since it's actually being broadcast on, ESPN. But I mean, yeah, we can make fun of it all we want, but it is actually a pretty serious scene, as far as I can tell, of how much people can really get into it and into the whole competitive nature of it, because I mean, people can get that into and competitive over sports in general. So I imagine people can do the same with these tournaments and such. So that's probably why it's even being broadcast on ESPN now.
Just to give you guys an idea of what was at stake in the International 5, here's some rough figures for you. The winner of the Kentucky Derby wins about $2 million. The person who wins Wimbledon wins about $10 million. The person who wins, the team that wins the International 5 Dota 2 tournament, about $18 million.
Wow. There's definitely some money in esports, huh?
Quite.
I mean, gaming in general is literally a multi-billion, industry. So it kind of doesn't surprise me that the esports scene would be, that prominent as well.
Honestly, I'm not quite sure what to add about this, because I understand that sports doesn't necessarily mean being athletic and whatnot, but I did have some personal experience of some people who are kind of into that scene, and unfortunately, some of those were bad apples, so to speak. I'm talking those who would spend hours, days, months playing nothing but World of Warcraft, and a couple even had hopes of getting into the big leagues someday.
You mean kind of like in like BlizzCon or whatever, those competitions for World of Warcraft?
I believe so. I recall that a friend of mine was talking to me about possibly getting in and winning lots and lots of money about it. And he was probably one of the better people I've talked to. Everyone else, this would go into personal matters entirely, but my big worry is that, this goes for any sports actually, but some people can let the ideas and the fame get to them. I kind of forgot what I was going with right here.
I think the main thing about esports is that, at least in terms of like the games, it's mostly just games like Dota 2 and probably like StarCraft or whatever. It's mostly like all these, I guess you could say, strategic games. Has there been like an esports scene where, I mean, I know we've had stuff like the Nintendo World Championship in like recently or this year's E3, but has there been really any other types of like esports in terms of like other types of games besides
Evo?
MOBAs and Evo? Yeah, of course. I can't forget fighting games. That's also another big scene as well.
There's also been various tournament setups for like Trackmania.
Yeah. Okay, I guess once you do factor in everything, there actually is a decent variety of games in the whole esports thing. But I guess even then, it's like if you're not exactly into watching people get competitive over fighting games and MOBAs and I guess to a lesser extent racing games, is there a mainstream appeal for esports in general? Because if people aren't really familiar Well, they just look at these and just go, "Oh, it's just some game and a bunch of nerds just playing really too seriously."
Well, we act as though the same thing doesn't happen with conventional sports. Oh, look, it's a bunch of meatheads slamming into each other over an egg-shaped ball.
How often do you hear about that, though?
Again, depends on who you talk to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, when I talk football in Skype, who responds?
No one.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless it's people linking fucking dumb football shit.
Like that quarterback
Left 4
slamming
Dead
face
football
first
thing.
into another player's ass.
Yeah, like any screenshots or like pictures where it's like probably like super gay looking ones. Even though I think that's basketball more, but you know what I mean.
I think one of the more big difficulties with considering esports as sports is the audience. I mean, when you consider it, they're taking big profile games and some not so high in profile, but still prominent sort of games. Like, as you mentioned, Dota 2, for example.
I'm pretty sure Dota 2 is high profile at this point.
Well, I know.
Even if none of us played, it still has a huge player base, I think.
I
It's
have
like up there with...
I have Dota 2 in my Steam library. It's been there for a couple years. Still have not installed it.
Wow.
Same here.
I'm surprised you guys even have it, because none of us, like I said, at least here in RiverCityGamers, play any MOBAs or Dotas or anything like that.
I don't remember how it got there.
I think one of our friends. I think one of our friends got it for us.
Oh, it might have been his name.
I'm thinking Jazzu.
Well, one of the people that we know that at least played like Dota 2, I guess.
Anyway,
it's like up there with like League of Legends in terms of MOBAs.
My point is, if this is going to be a kind of sport that they're expecting new audiences to come tune in, I think one of the big difficulties would be, what is this game? Why should I care?
You know, exactly, because I remember because I'm not really into MOBAs, and I remember just like looking up like screenshots of like Dota 2 and League of Legends, and then I realized, okay, wow, these two games look exactly the same. Like, what's the difference between those two even? And I'm sure fans of both can go into details of differentiating those two, but just from like a casual observation stance, when you look into these and it's like, okay, there's just guys running around killing things and doing stuff.
Okay,
well,
just to give it, just to give
kind of my attitude toward FPSs.
Well, I guess you could say that with any game that you're not really don't know what's going on. I suppose
it's a bunch of military guys shooting each other. How is this different?
Describes every shooter, almost every popular shooter I've seen, Battlefield, Call of Duty, and yet some people still buy them, expecting something to be different. Have you ever heard the definition?
I'm pretty sure people don't. I'm pretty sure people who buy them don't expect it to be different. They just really like it that much that they're willing to play the same thing. That's why they keep selling millions.
I talk to some people, and I pretty much tell them it's the same crap, and they're like, "But it's Battlefield." Anyway, what I was going to say is, I raised the question earlier about who's going to care, because is anyone here familiar with Tech TV?
At one point, yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? Arena?
Well, I remember there was this one show or a couple other shows where they had contestants facing off against each other in various video games, including one of the more memorable ones I could think of is Guilty Gear X2, where this one announcer thought Bridget was a lady.
It must have been Arena.
Anyway, so when you got stuff like that going around, they know their audience. They got people who are into video games or into technology and all that, and this all looks fascinating to them. When ESPN does it, of course, their audience is going to include people who normally expect to see people throwing balls around and slamming into each other. That's what I think would be the difficulty of considering esports as sports.
So would this mean Tony Kornheiser would have episodes on esports? And it just says Y under him the whole time?
Possibly.
I think that's just the big difficulty of making it work.
Yeah, of essentially meshing these two aspects of competitive games, you know? Because on one hand you have the traditional sports And the other you have video games.
Which one is going to make me a bit fatter for sitting on my ass all day, and which one's going to cause a lot of bone joint injuries?
World Series of Poker.
Although
if you want to talk about fat people in sports, well, let's get to bowling. Or how about darts? Let's talk about darts.
Well, we got a happy medium right there. You want to play a physical sport which doesn't require a whole lot of effort, but you could still get hurt from all that effort?
Shuffleboard.
Well,
are the two worlds just going to collide and they'll end up just playing like video game versions of all those instead? Where it's, like,
we're not going back to Game Party.
There are Madden tournaments.
Well, yeah.
But on the whole, introducing the idea to a new audience that's not familiar with it, that's really unpredictable. We can't say for sure how that's going to pan out, because even when traditional things that are shown to have huge audiences get introduced to people, they don't always take right away. The example I always go back to for this is the XFL.
The XFL?
Oh, you don't remember that? When Vince McMahon from the WWE said, "I'm going to make a football league"?
What?
Yeah, Vince McMahon and the WWE made a football league called the XFL. And it barely lasted one season. Look it up.
To Google.
Okay.
It was aired on NBC, for God's sake, and they still struggled to get an audience.
Well, yeah, because I mean, it was like we already have football, to begin with. What's this new football thing? That's probably what people were probably just confused about. And I don't think esports will reach that level. I mean, it's obviously been successful.
Well,
within its own audiences.
They've been around for more than a year, so they're not XFL level.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, esports, and I guess just gaming tournaments in general, have been around for quite a while. But I guess the question is, will it be successful in merging in with that the same level of as other sports, since it's being shown on ESPN? I guess that is the main question of this discussion.
Again, that's really hard to predict, because even there's not just the division of sports versus esports, there's still the division of sports and other sports. There's still a divide between people who watch football or basketball or baseball or whatever, and things like cycling. There's still the stigma that, these guys aren't really big athletes, even though it's one of the most physically demanding sports.
Yeah, I mean, Tour de France.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I imagine that would be pretty demanding just to do that.
So this one is more of a crapshoot. It either goes well or it doesn't go well.
Well, in terms of I guess coming into the more of the mainstream audience in terms of people other than just gamers or people that really know the games would watch.
Yes. I mean, obviously, a small focus group might not be enough to keep a channel going for esports for millions of dollars. I might be wrong there. I haven't done any research, but you're eventually going to want other audiences to come right in. And as SCR said over here, it's unpredictable.
Yeah, I mean, it could grow, or it could grow more because of this, or it could just continue just to go at its steady pace, I guess, with its own audience. I guess that's just where it is right now.
Well, now that you mention it, it's not like basketball fans are going to immediately watch baseball.
Well, yeah, that's what SCR sort of said. Each sport kind of has its own audience to begin with. So, and I guess gaming and even the different games within esports have their own audiences as well. So,
and even subsections within the sports. There are people who watch soccer that'll watch UEFA Champions League, but they won't watch Major League Soccer.
Okay, so it sounds like to me, regardless, it's still gonna become at least a moderate success in terms of the ratings.
Well, if the winners are getting like $18 million, I would assume so.
But as far as long term, like maybe it'll be as big as football, so to speak, or maybe it'll just be at least as good as baseball. I mean, I'm not huge in sports here. I think that SCR here will come up with better analogies, but something for the long term is what I'm saying.
Actually, I found a news report about ESPN's reaction to how the ratings did for when they broadcasted those Dota 2 matches. They were so pleased with the success of the recent broadcast that they're looking to expand their eSports coverage.
Well, that's a great thing.
I mean, I guess people are tuning into this because this is a new thing that they're showing, and it's something that you'd normally not see on ESPN. So I guess people are intrigued.
Oh God.
What?
Can I just end the topic on this note?
Sure.
What?
ESPN's next eSports project will be Major League Gaming's Call of Duty League.
Okay, so that's enough of this topic. I think
We're done. We're done.
Well, hey, I mean, like we said, if it's going to be mainstream, might as well do the mainstream games.
Well, you take the good with the bad, just like you take basketball with any American baseball.
Oh, what's the next lineup after that? Candy Crush?
Bejeweled.
Well, at least Bejeweled is a legitimate game.
God, I hate Bejeweled. Moving on. So this brings us to your questions. Our first and only question comes from nobody.
How come sometimes we do get questions and other times we just get none? This is kind of weird.
Last time we had like 5 or 6 questions, and then this time just nothing.
Huh. Oh well.
I don't know.
So you know what that means.
You're probably gonna come up with a bullshit question, aren't you?
Can any of you guys pick out a letter that is on the business card currently in my hand?
W.
C.
There is one W.
Oh.
C.
1, 2. There are 3 C's on it.
I'd like to buy a vowel.
Okay.
I.
There's 1 I. So I guess this means Unreal wins.
Wait, what? We only get 1 guess each?
Yeah, I was just holding up this business card I have for Neolux light up jackets. And there's only like 8 words on it.
I thought you were doing. I thought it was like an RCG business card. That's why we all.
That's what I thought. I
That's
thought
why.
RCG,
That's why.
so I said C.
That's why me and Unreal were like C and I.
Just one.
It's funny you mentioned that. I actually just got through watching that clothing review last night.
Good thing none of you said V.
Why?
There's no V's on the card.
Every letter in the alphabet except for T.
If you said that, then we'd be like, oh wait, that's not the RCG business card.
I guess we'll have to call video games idio games.
Well, more importantly, I guess we'll just have to hope that somebody else asks a question so I don't have to keep doing this week after week. And to ask a question, you can go ahead and ask us in the YouTube comments or the site upload. You can also private message us a question or ask us on Facebook, facebook.com/RiverCityGamers. Wow, I think that's the most clear and enunciated I've said the facebook.com page in a long time.
Wow.
Hey, I mean, if you keep at it, you'll do better. Practice makes perfect.
Let's go ahead and wrap up with video updates. And you know what? I'm going to go first. For my videos, I have a new SC on that's going to be coming out hopefully in about a week, maybe a little less time depending on how much time I can dedicate to editing it. Not to spoil much of anything, but I have a guest star or 2 in it, and they got me their footage. I've edited it in, and I want to say that I'm maybe 1/3 of the way through editing everything together.
Well, I think it's very safe to assume that this will not be nearly as long as Bloody War 4 was.
Oh, hell no.
Hey, I thought we weren't going to mention that again.
Well, mention, okay. Talk about, no.
Okay, fair enough.
Let alone play ever again.
Good thing I left those copies I saw at game stores left to dust. Sadly, someone else in the world is experiencing it.
Anyway, I have another video that I'm working on after Estion. It's going to be a just a moment video on a game that a rather generous Canadian allowed me to get at Con Bravo. You know who you are, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, but then it would just be like, oh, but then this $20 just
found
just
$20
was just there.
my ass. So there's that to look forward to. At some point, I'm also going to have another edition of Strumming the Bassline coming up. I'm not going to say what exactly it is, but I will go ahead and say the game. Twisted Metal 2.
Ooh.
I still have a hard time playing through that game.
Oh, it's unforgiving, and I like that.
It is. I probably just suck at it.
Have you been doing the specials so you can like occasionally pop up a shield now and then?
Maybe I just haven't been able to play it properly, is what I'm saying. I don't know. I could drive just fine without incident in real life, but in a video game, how do you gas and brake?
Forward and backward.
I think you should be more concerned about,
Yeah, not even driving sims can save your ass.
I think you should be more concerned in that game about, shooting people and not getting shot, rather than gas and brake.
Here's a preview for you. Play as Mr. Slam, freeze someone, special attack, homing missiles.
You have to pass it on to me next time I attempt it.
Well, anyway, that's it for my video updates, so whoever wants to go next, talk amongst yourselves.
I guess I could talk about what I'm going to do. I'm actually working on the next RiverCityGamers review, and then I actually have the footage of the game, at least the single player wise. I recorded the campaign of that. I'll still need to record a bit more of like other modes and things, but other than that, that's going well. So I'm hoping to get this out within this month, but we'll see. And in terms of like other stuff, I did kind of mention that I might want to do like an Armikrog video. I don't know if it's going to be like a review or something like that. I still haven't really decided, even if I want to do a video on this or save it for like a playthrough down the line or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. Like I'm being a bit indecisive with that because since I did talk about Neverhood and Skullmonkeys and all that, I do want to at least bring this one up in some capacity. But I just need to figure out what I would want to do for that, if anything. Other than that, that's pretty much it in terms of just my main reviews.
Okay, coin flip time. Unreal.
Sorry, nothing.
Hey, what are you talking about? We have that thing that I announced at Con Bravo.
Well, you're leading the charge on that one, because I don't have the thing you're doing. I'm just there.
You're still part of it, though.
But you're there.
Yeah, but I don't even know when you're gonna start it. So how am I supposed to know that we're gonna start the thing when I don't know when it's gonna happen?
So there's going to be a thing on RiverCityGamers' YouTube account that's going to start before the end of August. That is all.
Okay, good. Will trailers be posted before then?
I don't know.
Have you decided?
Well, we
I'm not talking about just the project. I'm talking about the other ones too.
Well, at Con Bravo at the RCG panel, we did have trailers and stuff. I assume they're going to be up on the RiverCityGamers YouTube sometime.
I think it's just a matter of who's going to upload them, because at least 2 people have them.
Yeah, just who and when is the big thing. I mean, yeah, I guess the thing I'm doing with SCR is like the only thing I'm going to be a part of.
Let's mass upload them right after this podcast goes up.
And just hide the podcast under just the trailers.
Have a trailer for the podcast.
Actually, technically, you're going to be part of like another thing, although it's really more of my videos, but...
Oh, right. Well, that's more just helping you out with footage and that's it.
Well, still something else.
But in terms of stuff I'm doing on my own, sorry, nothing.
Well, you're still just having like what technical issues with editing or whatever.
I'm just having a bunch of issues.
Well, do what you can.
Maybe you can go.
But yeah, honestly, like, I'm honestly just waiting to start the thing that SCR is going to do at the end of August.
Okay, and Angel.
As I mentioned in my last appearance, I'm still sticking true to my hiatus thus far. The good news is I do have 2 semesters to go. Whether I will come back to making videos, I still have ideas, but I probably won't be able to commit to them until maybe next year, at least. What I will say is that, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, I went to San Japan and I hosted 3 panels. One was Retro Arcade Building Champion Edition, Let's Talk About Obscure Video Games, and Operation Biohazard. I didn't have my camera on me, but thankfully there was a photographer in the audience that was generous enough to record the entirety of the Obscure Games panel. Whoever wants to watch that, I'll post a link. I'll have the link posted in the YouTube description. As far as other new videos go, I believe we played a game together recently, didn't we, SCXCR?
Yes, we did. So you can look forward to an RCG Plays coming to the channel really soon.
But as far as personal projects, again, it's on hold for the next year.
While you complete 2 more semesters of Surgeon Simulator.
That implies I have to dig into people's intestines. I think I'm fine doing barium enemas.
With fire extinguishers?
Yes, with fire extinguishers. And let's see how fast I lose my license.
Well, that'll have to wait for the next podcast, because we're done with this one. Once again, I'm SCXCR.
I am Unreal.
I am AngelHalo.
I'm Blondeguygamer.
And mic drop.
Oh, shit.
This is $40. Are you sure I should do?
Again, I'm not dropping my mic because I'm not going to get it broken and never get replaced. Like you guys probably will have to.
I did it for you.
If everyone else's mic jumped off a desk, would you too?